That all-important vaccine. Researchers in South Africa are preparing to launch an international trial investigating whether a 50-year-old mumps, measles and rubella, or known as MMR vaccine, which is normally used in childhood immunization programs, can be used to protect healthcare workers from SARS-CoV-2, which is basically what causes COVID-19. While the MMR vaccine provides lifelong protection against the three diseases, there is growing evidence that this could also help in the prevention of COVID-19. Approximately 30,000 healthcare workers internationally will be part of the trial. The World Health Organization, or WHO, say there are over 170 COVID-19 vaccine trials being conducted globally. Professor Jeffrey Mphahlele, the Vice President for Research at the South African Medical Research Council, joins us now to talk a little bit more about this. Great to have you, Prof. Thanks very much for your time.
Good morning, Leanne, and thanks for having me.
This has been bubbling in a lot of South Africans' minds for some time, this MMR vaccine that many of us have had, thinking maybe this is what's helping us, maybe this is something that should be looked at. So talk to us about this. I mean, the idea to look at this 50-year-old MMR vaccination, where did it all come from? I mean, this is for children. We know that as a possible protection against coronavirus.
Leanne, it's all about hypothesis.
Yeah.
You will recall that before MMR vaccine story, we had the same thing with the BCG vaccination.
Yeah.
And not only BCG vaccination, there was also another hypothesis with the polio vaccine. Unfortunately, the way the immune response works, it is specific. And if you use any other vaccine, which is not really specific for a particular pathogen, you're going to rely on non-specific immune response. So that is the hypothesis behind using other, vaccine. It's not because, you will get direct protection from MMR. Direct protection against SARS-CoV-2. So that is the basis of using other vaccines.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting because, there's been so many different hypotheses, as you say, because there's so much unknown out there. That BCG, that whole story of BCG and talking to the fact that South Africans had that and this was compulsory and this may have helped to protect us. Whatever came of this? Is it still something that is being tossed about amongst health professionals to say maybe this is one of those issues that has proven very beneficial for us?
I don't know where the trial is at this stage, but it doesn't seem to be anything concrete coming out of the trial. So once again, one can just say that it was a hypothesis, perhaps worthy to test, but at this stage, we can't draw any concrete conclusion.
But we are now at the point where we are looking at this MMR vaccine. So as you mentioned, as much as everything is still up in the air, we're seeing that the trial will see 30,000 health workers from around the world take part, 5,000 here from sub-Saharan Africa. When is it actually starting, this particular trial, or has it started already?
I'm not exactly sure if it has started. As you say, it is an international trial. It could be that in other countries it has already started, but in South Africa, I don't have the details. And what is going to happen is that if the healthcare workers receive the vaccine, some of them would have received it in early childhood anyway, especially measles. Maybe not mumps and rubella, because in South Africa we don't offer mumps and rubella as routine vaccination. In the EPI schedule, the extended program on immunization. And let me just pause a bit.
I see that we've lost your picture. It looks like the lights have gone off, but we can still hear your voice.
Sorry about that.
There we go. You're back. You're back. All right.
I'm in a funny room.
Okay, good. I'm glad we've got you back. So
Okay.
you were saying
Yeah.
it's not compulsory. The mumps and rubella.
So I'm saying that in South Africa, most of us received measles vaccination in childhood, but not rubella and mumps.
Yeah.
So the best thing is that those who participate in the clinical trial will benefit from mumps and rubella vaccination. And whether this will protect against COVID-19 will remain to be tested.
Yeah.
And I think, as you said, we just have to watch the space and see whether it will work or not.
Yeah, those that have already had this, the MMR, because a lot of South Africans have had this, even though it's not necessarily compulsory. It is on offer, and a lot of babies. I mean, I know, for instance, my children. I've ensured that they've had it. I'm almost 100% certain I've had it as well. Do they evolve over the years? Does it change? Would the one that's on offer now be the same as what we've received over the years, or has it changed substantially?
No, they've been the same vaccines. All of them are actually live attenuated vaccines.
Yeah.
And they've been like that for many, many years. So nothing has changed at this stage.
So we wouldn't, if in fact you have had this, you wouldn't really need a new one. And I mean, if health professionals around the world participating in the trial, obviously they would be health professionals who never in their life received an MMR vaccine.
Let's put it this way. For measles vaccination, it will be like a booster because you got it just as a child. As I say, for most of us, we would have got the vaccine as children.
Yeah.
But then for rubella and mumps, it could be that the majority of the healthcare workers are getting the vaccine for the first time, and it will be beneficial. And we just don't know whether it will protect against COVID-19.
I want to talk a little bit now away from that, because that's a trial that we'll watch. It's very, very interesting. It truly is. And I mean, it'll be, again, beneficial to those of us that have had it. And if it does help, well, that's just another weapon for our fight. Let's talk to the 3 COVID-19 vaccine trials in South Africa. Give us an update, if any. How is the progress going?
The progress is going fairly well. And we have got 2 trials which are ongoing, the Oxford Vida trial and the Novavax. Both of them are conducted by Wits University, as most people would know. And there is another one which is in the pipeline, which will be a vaccine from Johnson & Johnson. And I think they're still preparing to start the trial. So the 2 that are ongoing, I would say that they are going fairly well, despite the setback that we had 2 weeks ago. Because you will recall that there was a report of rare neurological condition, transverse myelitis, that caused the trial to pause. But it has restarted in South Africa, and we hope that they will continue monitoring the participants and giving additional boosters.
And that was a concern, obviously, as you say, that did stop it, but it has restarted. So is there a lot of confidence around this particular vaccine, the Oxford COVID-19 vaccine, even though it was paused, as you mentioned, in September due to some side effects in patients in other parts of the world? But here in South Africa, it seemed to have still been running smoothly. So we're back on track now. And in terms of this research, is there a lot of optimism around these particular ones that are being tested in the country?
There is optimism. With all clinical trials that are in phase 2 and phase 3, obviously the Oxford Vida trial is one of the front runners. And so far, I don't think there's anything that we need to worry about. If there is another side effect that is reported, that would just be normal because is the reason we call it a trial. So the vaccine has to be monitored so that if there is any side effect is reported, and the participant is investigated to make sure that the side effect is not really due to the vaccination.
Yeah. Just finally, as we wrap up, obviously it's the race to get the vaccine, and it can never be done too fast, as we keep on being warned by many scientists that are saying these things take time. You need to give it time in order to find the right one. But once that right one comes, it's the distribution and the fear that some countries may be left behind and be the last on the list. These different organizations, the World Health Organization, saying that they must be fairly distributed. How do you feel about this? I mean, in terms of where South Africa's standing is in terms of receiving a vaccine once it is available?
Look, this is a novel initiative. It has never been done before. And it is being done because we are all anxious about, access. And not just access, fair access to the vaccine once we have got a commercially available vaccine. So I would say that the WHO and other partners, because it's WHO, Gavi, and CEPI, that started this initiative. They are really trying their best to ensure that all low middle income countries or middle to low income countries and the low income countries do have access to the vaccine once it becomes available. And South Africa is no exception. It has to really participate as far as this initiative is concerned, so that we are able to secure our position in getting the vaccination. Or in getting the vaccine when it's available.
Professor, thank you for your time. Professor Jeffrey Mphahlele from the South African Research Council, giving us an update about the progress in the current trials to find a vaccination to fight coronavirus. Also the issue of MMR now being rolled out to some of the healthcare professionals around the world to see if that does in fact help. So it's quite interesting. I mean, there's just so much doubt around this. And also that BCG, I'm seeing a report saying that it does not offer any protection, but some people still believe BCG does. So, like we say,
age-old debate,
all theories.
Ongoing. Yeah, absolutely. So ultimately, what we can do is bring you the information so that you can make an informed decision as to what it is that you want to go with.
Indeed. Have a wonderful day.